France 2019 Rugby World Cup squad. It's been out for a little while. I've sat and watched the majority, but not all of the press conference with the release of the squad. I had to watch it in French with French subtitles using Google's Translate thing to do it in English. So how well the translation was there, I guess remains to be seen. But I think I've got a fair idea of what was going on. It seems like they've picked a pretty standard selection of players, like in terms of how many players in each position. And they did say in the press conference that they were looking for kind of a good mix of youth and experience, and I feel like they've got that. You've got guys around the 50 cap mark and some guys who are still in single digits. I think Picamoles is probably the top with 79 just at a glance. Girado, who's captain, is on 70. So yeah, there's still some experience there, guys who've been there and done it before. So despite the fact they're in a tough pool, it'll be interesting to see how they go. In terms of the squad, 3 hookers: Camille Shah, Girado, and Malvaca. It's probably going to be Girado and Shah based on previous experience. Malvaca's only got 1 cap. He's only 22 years old. But yeah, Girado is the man, so let's hope he stays fit and we see lots of tackling from him, because it's what he does. Props is Bail, Bomba, Poro, Setiano, and Slimani. Again, probably slightly on the youthful side in terms of props, with age 25, 21, 26, 23, 29. Slimani's the most experienced with 53 caps. Then Poro with 29. The other 3, well, but he's like at 13, but yeah, 6 and 3. So all below 20 caps anyway, and 2 of them in single digits. So that is perhaps a bit of bulk, but not all that much experience. That being said, All Blacks didn't take on Frank, so maybe that's a thing this World Cup cycle. Locks, you got Gabriag, Vaha Mahina, and LaRue. They named those 3 as locks, even though LaRue kind of plays in the back row as well. They mentioned that Ituria would be the second row cover, especially given that Gabriag is out for the first game with a suspension. He was initially banned for like 6 weeks, and it was going to take them through to the England game, which is their final pool game. But it got reduced to 3, so he's just out for the Argentina game as Gabriag. He's free for the other game, so you'd expect it's Vaha Mahina and somebody else starting against Argentina. Vaha Mahina is the top guy, so that's pretty good, and all those guys are under 30 as well. Loose forwards: Ituria, like I mentioned, Lore, Kamara, Aldrit, Olivion, and Picamoles. Picamole was probably, I guess, an interesting call because, he's the veteran. There was maybe a little bit of talk that he might not make it, but I think most of us appreciate that guy's play and are happy to see him have one last crack at the Rugby World Cup. But there's definitely a lot to like about that back row. I think there's a bit more experience there compared to some of the other positions, 25, 30, 31. The youngest one amongst those guys is Aldrit at 22, and he's already got 7 caps, so he's doing not too bad for himself. Backs, they got 3 scrum halves, which is what most sides seem to be taking, and Dupont, Machinot, and Serran. And ultimate mix of youth and experience them as well. Machinot's 30, Dupont's 22. Dupont seems to be the future for French rugby at number 9, so let's hope he gets a lot of minutes, but Machinot and Serran can certainly do a job as well. So that's probably one area of particularly good depth. Lopez and Ntamak at 10 will be an interesting one, because there's not... Ntamak is young and has a lot of potential. Lopez is solid, but if you compare him to the likes of a Bowden Barrett or, I don't know, Johnny Sexton, Farrell, would he beat out any of those players to those team squads? probably not. Maybe I'm not doing him enough justice. But yeah, I suppose that's one area where they don't have an out-and-out world beater player. Midfield, Fiku, Fofana, Vakatawa, and Gitoon. Yeah, I guess that's pretty good. Both Fiku and Fofana have got 48 caps each. Vakatawa on 18 and Gitoon, the youngster, despite the fact that he's 30, in terms of caps, only on 7. But was it him that showed some real gas in one of those games against Scotland? I think it was him, made an awesome line break. So, yeah, I feel like that midfield's going to be dangerous. And outside backs, Huge, Pinot, Raka, Medard, and Thomas Ramos. Yeah, I mean, Medard's another kind of experienced customer there at the back. Huge's 32 as well, but Pinot is a genuine strike weapon. Raka has only got a couple of caps, but he's looked good. And Thomas Ramos has been in awesome form from what I've seen of him and he's playing for Toulouse and for France as well. So, yeah, it's a pretty good squad. I suppose the biggest calls was that the fact that they cut Lombe and they cut Taufa Fanua. Like, they're not taking a whole lot of... I thought, another lock maybe. But I guess with Aturia they're kind of covered. So, it's an interesting one. Danny Priso and Francois Cruz didn't make the squad either. But I think there are going to be several of those guys, like 6 of them, going to be still training just as kind of injury backups as well. Top 14's already started. I'm not sure if they'll be picking any guys from that if there's injuries, but I guess that'll be one to watch. So yeah, France are in a tough pool. Start off with Argentina. Then they've got those 2 games with those 2 teams, Tonga and USA, and then they've got their final game against England. And they talked in the press conference that the game against Argentina could essentially, it puts one foot into the quarterfinals, whoever wins that game. And they said that kind of England are the favourites for that pool. So, yeah, it is going to be one to watch, that first game. Like the All Blacks and South Africans in the other pool, but it may be even more so with this pool being that extra touch competitive. That first game is really, really going to be key. No Gabriel for that one, but I guess we'll see how they go. You guys let me know your thoughts on the French squad. Any areas you think they're particularly strong, particularly weak? Do you see them getting out first or second in the pool, or perhaps slipping up? They've never not made it out of the pool. I actually looked that up in this little guide thingy. It said all their previous finishes. Too many runner-ups, to be fair. It's pretty hard. Runners-up, quarterfinal, semi-final, runner-up, semi-final, semi-final, runners-up, quarterfinal. So they always get out the pool. And about half the time they make at least the semis. More than that, only twice they've not made it to at least the semi-final. France at World Cup time, man. They're a pretty good team. You guys let me know your thoughts on the France squad. How do you think they're going to go? And I will talk to you again soon. See you later.